both hands. I gotta feel the kick inside. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire, fire, fire. Hey! Ain't nobody living in a perfect world. Everybody's out there crying to be heard. But I got a new fire burning my heart, lighting up the darkness and moving like a meteorite. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith.
ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie. And of course, thank you to my co-host and the board member, Judy, who without her, this Stroke of Luck show would not be possible.
Thank you
So thank
so
you,
much.
Judy.
Thank you.
And we have a return guest who actually I think by now we can call a friend, Steve Gutman. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. And yes, you are correct on that.
Yes. So so tell us a little bit about your mind-body dynamics so that we could inform our new guests, new show watchers.
Okay, great. So I am a mind, body, health, wellness, life coach, integrative trainer, massage energy therapist in reference to what I do. So with Mind Body Dynamics, my company, I provide traditional personal training, yoga, Qi Gong, which Tai Chi and Kung Fu come from, which is one of the original forms of Chinese medicine, along with acupuncture, a few other things. I'm a massage therapist, cupping therapist, energy therapist. I work with people how they eat. I've worked with people from ages 4 to 106. So my whole company is about making a difference, helping to transform people's lives mentally, physically, and emotionally. I'm a positivity coach, and I have a background as a physical educator with kids. Yet once again, I've worked with people up to 106. I can see people in locations I have. I can go to them. I also work with people virtually. I'm also the founder of International Health and Wellness Week, a worldwide event to help inspire, educate, and motivate people to the world to find the modalities of fitness and wellness that work best for them. I was going
And
to
what
run
week is that, Steve? What week is
the
that?
first week of May. I've run it a few times, but of course, something called COVID has gotten in the way.
Yeah, yeah,
So hopefully down the road again.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we all had to kind of little shift a little bit because of COVID.
That's it.
Are you still there? I think you froze.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, our last show was about music and memory. So I think we want to continue the conversation about that before we get into your Qi Gong. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Qi Gong?
Mhm.
So let's talk about music and memory and the impact that music has in your work, because I know that I always follow you on Facebook and you do wonderful posts, and in your a lot of the posts, it has music with you doing your Qigong or doing your meditation or doing your whatever it is that you're trying to inspire people for the day. Music and the sounds, even the running water sounds, that's a part of music. That's a part of the audio. So talk to us a little about how music plays an important part in your work.
Well, so I'm a music lover, first of all. But I find that, well, we know that music connects to another part of the brain than the spoken word. So I know last year, I remember I seen, was it on the news, on Facebook, very cool, where was it, I'm just mentioning, it was a fact of, I think, an older woman in the senior center, woman of color, and the woman working with her was woman not a color, but the thing that was interesting was that the woman had Alzheimer's, nothing was working, but she started putting on music, and the woman remembered all the songs.
Mm.
And we know how it inspires us. We can connect to the brain in so many ways. And as a hypnotherapist, one of the things I do also is the fact that how many times does a person hear a song and it brings them back to a particular memory,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
So I look at that, the fact, besides enjoyment, the fact of music can inspire us, lift us in so many ways, but it does have that connection with memory. Even if we might be singing a song, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the whole show was on music and memory and the importance of music. And you know that music is such an important, that
Oh,
it is me, it's a part of me. And that's why I named the foundation the language of love, because music is a language of love. And that's why our logo has music in it with the heart and the world and stuff. So to me, music is such an important part. And I said in the prior show, I remember when my dad was in ICU and we played the Natalie Cole song Love. We just played it over and over. We know we heard it. We know we heard it. So it really is an important. And Judy, tell us just really briefly how you use music for your dad, just so we can tie Stephen.
I used music because when I was wheeling my dad around the nursing home, I played on a tape recorder his favorite, I had pre-recorded his favorite 40s music.
nice.
And as I wheeled him around, I played it and I heard him singing a little. I also took him to music when they had a music hour in the evening, and it made a major difference to everybody there. And my father enjoyed it so much, he was using a tambourine and shaking it to the melody.
Yeah.
And the singers were saying, gee, that's great. I appreciate that. It's going along perfectly with everything.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
Steve, when you do your Qigong, do you use tranquil music in there?
Usually I put on Guns N' Roses. No, I'm kidding.
I don't, Guns N' Roses is not my favorite, but I I love Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, you
Oh,
know, some of that high powered, and I like their songs that are inspiring because Bruce tells stories through his music, and Bon Jovi inspires me like it's your life. So yeah. So, but what kind of music do you use?
okay. Well, I like Bon Jovi, and Bruce is one of my heroes, but I don't play that. Mostly new age music, much more peaceful and beautiful, and might be classical once in a while. Um, I've gone depending. Some people don't want music, most do, so I put on the music. If they just want, when I've taught water by waterfalls, I've done a few times. Then you have that sound.
Yeah.
Two different times though. I have teaching class Saturdays in Lake Musconetcong, New Jersey, um, for the residents. Saturdays through later in the summer, and we had two different times when we played different music. One time when Aretha Franklin died, and of course I checked with everyone. It's a great group of people.
Steve, we don't hear you now. I can't hear you. Judy, can you hear me?
No,
I hear you. I didn't hear Steve.
I don't hear.
Okay. Yeah, we don't hear you, Steve.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So just retreat back a little bit because I want to make sure we get everything.
So normally it's new age, sometimes classical. We had, and sometimes, like I said, we might be I've been at waterfalls with people and we're playing, we just have the natural sound. Nobody wants music. Two different times though, we had something different. When Aretha Franklin died, sadly passed a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I checked with everyone, nice group of people. I asked if they want Aretha, and everyone said sure. And it worked. A little different. I strive not to have words involved, but it worked in its way. And to me,
What Aretha song did you play?
well, we had like your greatest hits on,
Okay. Okay.
and some long songs work better than others. And then when the late great Max Rebernack, if you know of Dr. John,
No, I don't.
was so in the 60s, he was more like your psychedelic kind of tripping music. Then he got more into, he's from New Orleans, more New Orleans kind of music, more sweet, soulful, rhythmic. So we put on a lot of his music, and that was different. And once again, I'm not going to do it unless I'm always striving to tell people, whether I'm training somebody, whether it's the yoga, Qi Gong, or something else, it's a collaboration. I'm working with them. It's not like I'm leading. It's a whole team thing. I'll do what they want. So when it came
Right.
to the Qigong, we went with music that worked for everyone there. So it was a consensus. They said, yeah, sure, let's do this.
And okay, so let's get into what actually Qi Gong is. Give us a little background history on what it is, and then we'll flow into how it can reduce high blood pressure, because
Great.
that really was Judy's intention about this show, because of course high blood pressure can result in a stroke. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Qi Gong, if you don't mind.
Sure. Qigong goes back, say, close to 5,000 years.
Wow.
So a few years before all of us, right?
A few. Although we were probably alive in spirit. We were probably alive in spirit.
There we go. So Qigong goes back many years in China. And let's say that it's one of the original forms of Chinese medicine. Acupuncture, the oldest, right? So we know acupuncture. Tuina, the oldest form of massage and herbology, and Qigong go back thousands of years, all different forms of Chinese medicine. Qigong can, let's say that, and there's such a convoluted, complex history with it. I'll say most basic, Qigong can lean towards more of a medicinal approach or more of a meditative, or we could say martial arts, but not like you're kicking someone's tush. It's more about the Qi, the electrical or life energy. Goes back thousands of years. Let's say it's referred to as an internal martial art. So say Tai Chi, which more be external, self-defense more.
Right,
And you
right,
can
right.
go spiritualism with that. And you could go slowly. Let's say Qigong is doing particular motions. that can instill, create the Qi, this energy, this life energy.
Does the energy help you to tap into your, you tap into to your connection of what you should be doing?
Yes. So yoga will talk about the chakras. We can say that Qigong works in meridians, where the microcosmic orbit runs behind and above the body, these different points, similar to the chakras. Let's say with Qigong, what happens is it's the way that, and we could demonstrate, I could do some, and if you all
Would
are
love you to. Would love you to.
Yeah.
So with Qigong, what we're talking about is, on the most basic level, people will see that, and we'll see this soon, that it's physical motions that people are doing, physical movements that are very gentle, a lot of repetitive, that are the most.
We lost you again. We lost you. Steve, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Steve.
And we froze again,
Okay.
I guess.
Yep, we got it. We're back. We're back. It's okay. It's technology. There's nothing we could do.
Okay. So where acupuncture works on the 12 meridians, these energy pathways, passively where you're lying down. And I've been receiving acupuncture for 32, 33 years. Have any of you ever had acupuncture?
I have. I've
Okay.
had.
I'm thinking about doing it.
It's great. It's great. I think we were discussing it. I highly recommend it. Qigong is actively providing work through all these meridians, these energy pathways. So in regards to that, a lot of schools of acupuncture, they will teach Qigong or Tai Chi or a combination to work on these. Tai Chi tends to be more regimented, so it's great, more regimented in its way. Qigong's more free-flowing. Tai Chi might have more in the reference to, well, if say you're a master of Tai Chi, it might be a form of self-defense.
Mhm.
But the motions are more regimented, more set routines. Qigong is more free-flowing. And it's amazing. So we're talking, can work all the meridians. It can work your heart, your lungs, all the systems of your body. Amazing for relaxation. In my opinion, for all around health, it might be the most amazing modality. And once again, I'm trained in a lot of modalities. I love yoga. I've been doing it. Next month will be 49 years.
Wow.
But I find with the Qigong is great with some of these, with a lot of these motions. Qigong has thousands of exercises, and there's variations to the exercises. So a few people have referred to me as Qigong master. No way. I don't think I'll ever be a Qigong master. I feel I have my knowledge, my education, my experience with it, a passion for doing it, relating to my own practice and teaching others. Yet there's so much to it.
Mhm. Where did you give? I think you just did something outside. No, you did Qigong outside. Didn't you just do a class outside, or was that something else?
Oh,
I saw it on
Saturdays.
Facebook.
Once again, this class I teach in Lake Musconetcong in Netcong, New Jersey. I teach it for the residents there. We did have it. It was more wide open to people, but because of COVID, it's more just the people in the area. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, and it's great. We're 20 feet or so, 30 feet from the lake. So I have the lake view. It's
We have
beautiful.
to see how far that is from me, because I would love to come and do that one day.
It's a nice, and so it's a great group of people. And it was originally created for seniors, senior adults. Yet we want to have one person, Max, has been doing it for a few years. So picture mostly seniors, mostly women. And you have Max, who saw him yesterday, first time this year for the class. And Max is 13 now. So he's been doing it. This is his, I think, third year. It's cool. It's such a nice vibe. And I love it. And I've taught a mixture of Qigong and yoga. I will provide a combination, a fusion of Qi Gong with, say, uh, workouts. I could put a person through a challenging workout. We bring in the Qi Gong.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. So let's get to some of the positions. Can you take us into Qigong a little bit?
It will be an honor and a pleasure. And now here's the thing that's nice with Qigong. It can be great for anyone. I've worked with a lot of people with various disabilities. I've provided routines for people with Alzheimer's, with muscular dystrophy, with Parkinson's, you name it. Physical challenges, mental, I've provided for people much more physically fit. It could be sitting or standing. So I'm going to stand. You could either stand or sit for it.
I'm going to sit.
Okay. Now, so the first one, and once again, there's thousands. I'll only provide a few. I don't think we'll be able to get to 1,000. So first, say we're doing a standing or sitting Qigong standing meditation or sitting. Say your hands can be in standing tree position. Hands are around waist height. Palms are facing each other. You're doing.
Can I ask something, Steve, though? Because this hand is weak for me. Is it important to have them in this position?
Do what you can. Once again, I worked with people with disabilities. I've worked with people with amputations. So we can. There's a mental element. So you do the best you can.
Okay.
Right? Hakuna Matata, no worries.
Disney, I was just there. Woo!
Very, belly's going in and out, doing what you can to bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth, which is fire point, a common place where we have a lot of energy from the front and back of the body, which Qigong and Tai Chi and also yoga talk about. So
I have a question. Why is a tongue to the roof of your mouth important?
Well, this is where supposedly we have much more energy.
Oh, that's new.
Acupressure.
That's a new piece of information for me, and I'm sure the world.
There we go. And we're attempting to breathe through the nose. Now, if your nose is stuffed, and my allergies have been horrendous, breathe through the mouth. But remember to breathe. So say we're in the position a little bit. Now, moving on, we can call this clearing. A little inhale up, exhale down. This is kind of like the period or the exclamation point at the end of a sentence. Let's say this is between each Qigong motion. Now moving on. In fact, we can do some Qigong for high blood pressure.
Okay.
Deep abdominal breathing. So we can call this wave breathing. Let's say one hand is on your belly, one on the chest. And belly, focus on the belly going up and down. And see about lack of movement from the chest. Now, if you're lying down on the floor, we might call it diaphragmatic breathing, same thing. So more of a focus on yoga. We're in control of our breath, remember that. Now moving on, a little clearing, we can call this water waves. Once again, Qigong is very fluid. And be non-judgmental, as we can also be so judging. So we're going to move side to side.
It's funny, the last program was about this, about movement with music and rhythm.
Oh, nice. Very key. Yeah, I saw that. I already had obligations. Otherwise, I would have checked it out.
That's okay. It'll be online. It'll be around.
Sounds good. So the hands could be waist height or lower, maybe a little higher. Steady breathing. The motions look very gentle. They are. Yet some people think there's nothing to them. Now go a little higher. We can call this, say, well, actually, so we could call this water waves.
You know what, Steve? It kind of reminds me of Hawaii.
Oh, there you go. Nice. I actually do something called Lomi Lomi, which is, I'm trained as Lomi Lomi, certified in Lomi Lomi. I think lost it. Certified Lomi Lomi, which is a type of massage, but there's emotion. Now go higher. Dancing in the moon, going a little higher. Steady breathing. And moving side to side. So here's some basic background. Anytime you cross a midline of your body, we might be potentially stretching out all our internal organs. You're getting a little massage in there. So it's great for circulation, great for digestion, elimination. Also, I can tell you as a physical educator, you cross a midline, you're stimulating the other side of the brain. Now come down lower. Let's move on. Let's get to spinal cord breathing. So with an inhale, come up. Elbows come close. Your hands are closed. Exhale. Belly into, elbows into belly. Inhale, come up. Keep your elbows together when you get past your shoulders. Coming back, attempting to get the elbows together. So this is a specific Qi Gong routine for high blood pressure. We're talking about one element of issues with high blood pressure is the stress. We need to keep it down. Qi Gong works on stress reduction through the breath, through the motion, through circulation, everything. And now moving on. Let's get to a little clearing. Excellent, everyone, so far. And this should all feel good. This one's swimming dragon. So say you're standing, then you have your legs together. If you're sitting, you don't have to worry about it. Now see if you can turn your head the other way. And again, remember to breathe. Let's see those teeth, as I tell people. Let's see the Donnie and Marie's a little bit. If we go back to Donnie and Marie.
I love Donnie and Marie.
Oh, and I definitely had a crush on Marie back then.
And I had a crush on Donnie.
Oh, okay. There we go. We could have double dated.
Yeah.
If they would have gone out with us. So you're going back and forth, slower. We're going to move on. This one is called Repulse the Monkey. So imagine we can talk about yoga refers to monkey brain, kind of having all that stuff going on in our head. And we can say in the average person has 15,000 thoughts in their head a day.
Well, Jim, I hope you're doing this on the back end.
So this is Repulse the Monkey. Hands are not touching, they're coming close. So this is kind of like getting rid of, we say metaphorically.
Can't do that though.
Getting rid of all the thoughts in our head, all those negative thoughts, all the anger, all the multitude of thoughts that we get.
You know, I'm going to ask you to describe and how it works.
Yes. Well, we're talking about the energy. We can say how the Qi Gong works at different meridians, depending where we're at. So for instance, we're talking about the lung meridian here, heart. If you talk about the lung meridian, one thing it does is enhance breathing. Another thing is where we supposedly hold on to anger, sadness, and depression. Now, I don't know if you feel a tingle in your hands, your body, if you feel a warmth. A lot of times people can feel these different feelings from Qi Gong.
Okay, Jim, I hear you.
Moving on, let's get to embrace the tree. Or let's say we'll do the tree pose. Inhale coming up. With an exhale, come down. Moving back to center with an inhale coming up. Other side. Coming down. Back to center and up.
How does a group of people make this better to do it with?
Well, it's great whether it's one-on-one, you get personal attention. If it's a group, you get a nice energy to it. You see everyone moving in the same way.
Yeah.
And people really love the feeling of Qigong. If I was to discuss a contrast between Qigong and yoga, yoga might be more towards more the classic components of fitness. more, it will build more strength in Qi Gong, all around body strength. I mean, you're holding your body in positions. Cardiovascular may get it. You gain the flexibility even more, I feel, than Qi Gong. Qi Gong is more about the mobility, flexibility. I find Qi Gong is better. It's more user friendly. You don't need a yoga sticky mat. They're both great. I mean, I find when we have a crowd of people, just they love it because it's, once again, so relaxing and free movement.
When I herniated both my discs in the back, the yoga instructor had said to me, you know, people don't need to do aerobics, don't need to do Zumba. They can get the same energy and the same fitness out of yoga. Do you agree with him?
Different, and no offense to him. We're not going to do, Renee, because of your hand. This is called cloudy hands. This is a great one to do. Can really get energy going with the hands. Not part of my high
I
blood
can't turn it over though, Steve. That's my problem. I can't turn it over. Like I can do this way, but I can't do it this way.
Right. So you just do what you can, because it still will help you there. You just do what you can. With all due respect to the Zumba instructor, and once again, I'm a trainer, they're different. I find you can burn more calories unless you're doing something like, say a power yoga class. So if you're moving, keep doing the sun salutation, you know, over and over again. We might say, and getting into some deep breathing, something called breath fire. You can burn a lot of calories. They're different. They're going to work differently. They're great. Once again, Zumba, my feet don't move fast enough always, or let's say my brain, to instruct Zumba, but I love Zumba.
Right.
But I find they're great, and I'd say either one could be great. To me, yoga is a better form of all-around fitness than Zumba. That's my own opinion. Yet if you can do both, go for it. The mixture. I'll always promote all kinds of exercise. No.
So Steve, like I was saying before, how do these movements work? Like why do they work? Like, you know that yoga works in a certain stance because it's strengthening a certain muscle.
Right,
So
okay.
how does Qigong, how does it work? Like, I don't understand that.
Okay, so what we're talking is the movements over and over again. On one level, you're talking about moving. So you're talking about increasing circulation. When we don't move, that's the issues for any age. We need to move. So movement, the breathing is slow. So we have our vagus nerve starting up at the neck, up base up here. So the vagus nerve, among other things, is very important for digestion, also for relaxation. You're stimulating the vagus nerve doing that. That's one thing what the Qigong does. When you're doing all these motions, you're talking about different ones besides the movement, circulation. We can say how, on that note, it connects to your different meridians, energy pathways. So for instance, if we do say birds, breads of feathers, this one, for this one, for instance, what happens is, according to Chinese medicine, the ribs is where we hold on to anxiety. So say we're dealing with anxiety, according to Chinese medicine, you're doing this one. You're helping to alleviate it through this particular motion.
Right.
Once again, the meridians have these different pathways where they're set up.
What is a meridian, Steve? What is a meridian?
So we could say the meridians are energy pathways. So relates to one thing we talk about with the Qi is, if you have blockages, then you don't have the Qi flowing, you don't have circulation. Think of it as a traffic jam. Are cars circulating when you have a traffic jam? Can they get from point A to point B? Or it's going to take longer.
Right.
There's going to be issues. What happens if, say, you have your blood circulating, but you're having that? What goes on? What happens with a stroke? So we look at that. We want circulation.
Right.
In all ways. Looking at how Qigong can be amazing for circulation. clearing the brain. Once again, stress reduction. There's enough research on it, which is all about how it can be effective on all forms of illnesses. A lot of research for it. So I look at that with Qigong, how it can be effective. Hopefully that answers the question. Does
Yeah,
it?
yes, it does. It does. It does. You know, it's,
Uh,
you know, people like you know, you're in that field, so you just kind of like talk about it naturally. And the people that are engaged with you talk about it and understand it naturally, but we really reach out to those that this is new to them. So that's
Right.
why I asked the question, so that they can have some concept and understand what we're talking about.
Right. No, sounds good. Most people who've taken it, who I know have taken my Qigong, they really enjoy it. Of course, not everything is for everyone.
Right,
Uh,
right.
I mean, I've been a big believer of it, and I'm the only one I know of. I'm sure there's others out there who is a traditional trainer, also has the yoga and the Qigong.
Right.
And then I also teach Met Pilates. I find it's just another tool in my tool belt, so to speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
So on Mondays, I work with people in recovery from addiction at a facility, and I'll
Wow.
bring in meditation, yoga, Qigong, and numerous other things. And once again, overall, they find it's great. So once again, it can be nice for lowering blood pressure, stress reduction, energizing the body, circulation, uh, strengthening all your organs, internal organs, all the processes of the body.
Mm.
Really amazing how it is very effective.
You know, it's funny because a few years ago, I actually understood the importance of being um, in a serene place when you're going to sing, right? Because to use your muscles correctly without blockage, you need to be in a tranquil, meditative space. You know, you need to, and that's why, like on American Idol or The Voice, it's so important for those coaches to empower and to trust in themselves, but also to not be nervous. You need to be in that space so that you could sing fluently. You could just
Right.
sing.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. We know we need to have the flow, as you know, as a singer. The diaphragm needs to be flowing. In
Right.
fact, when I taught physical education, I would talk to the kids about diaphragmatic breathing. And of course, they would look at me like, yeah, right, Mr. Gutman. And then when we had the kids, when they're getting to fourth, fifth grade, and they would meet, and I might be in there discussing playing an instrument with a person coming in, trying to turn them on to playing an instrument. And I would simply ask the music teacher, let me ask you, does diaphragmatic breathing have anything to do with that? And of course, they'd say, great question. And they would just go on and expound upon it. And the kids would look at me like, oh, maybe Mr. Gutman knows something.
Wow. So there was something I wanted to say. Oh,
And
you
then,
know, you're talking about movement. You know, for a while, you know, I mean, because of this pandemic, I was home for a year working. You didn't go out. You know, I went out for a few walks, but, you know, because of work was so intense, I was just sitting at my computer 12 hours a day. And my daughter took me to, we went to Disney World. And of course, Disney World, you have to walk and walk and walk and walk. And although I was exhausted, I felt good because I felt like there was movement in my
You were getting the
body.
exercise you didn't get
I was
prior
getting
to
the
that.
exercise and it felt so good. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, yesterday I ran to Target and you'll be so proud of me, Steve. I got out of my car at one end of the mall, walked all the way down to the other end on the outside, and walked all the way back to go to Target.
nice.
Great.
Because I've learned, I heard somebody say, like, you know, park the farthest away from the store that you have to park so you can get your added exercise.
You could even go to a mall and just walk the mall without
Yeah.
going shopping. Just walk
Yes.
the different 4 angles of the
Yeah.
mall.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Did we lose you, Steve?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, you're there. So yeah, so I just wanted to add that in, the importance of, you know, what you do, you know, even if it's slow moving, or you're moving you're keeping your whole body spiritually as well as physically energized and exercised and open to life.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, and thank you. And I think you ladies have seen on my post, I'll talk about it. I think I did a post earlier today again about just do something, do moving. When I like clients will say, well, I'm not exercising if I'm raking leaves. Well, warm up, and yes, you can burn calories raking leaves. Shoveling, people have to watch out, especially with something like a stroke. You want to warm up.
Definitely.
But if you're moving, doing something, walking, and like my allergies, like you say, they're knocking wood a little bit better today, but they've been real challenge this year. I think the worst year ever. And I was posting about, look, if the allergies are bothering you, you can't be outside, be inside, do something, move, put on some music, dance to the music, whether it's a song, dance to the music by Sly and the Family Stone, or you're just dancing, like I think it was Sly, yeah, or anything, just move something.
Okay, Steve, now that we're talking about music, what's your favorite type of music? Although I love all genres. All genres except for rap. And as long as rap is used as a way to touch those that only listen to rap, I like rap. But I like all music, but not rap. So what's your favorite type of music?
I like just pretty much everything. Blues is number one.
Blues.
But I love rock, soul, classical, reggaeton, pop. I'd say that world music I've gotten to enjoy. Little rap, some heavy metal, but I'd say blues is number one. And yeah, but I like everything. And did I say jazz? I love jazz.
Yeah.
I have to add something. We
Yes.
were in Bermuda and walking along the boardwalk there, and a restaurant was playing a restaurant bar, more bar than restaurant, was playing rap music. And I started getting into it, and I was doing a whole rap dance.
Nice.
And Andrew said to me, do you know that you have an audience?
Nice.
I was just doing it. I was just going with it and making up steps and having a great time. And then he said, people are watching.
Very nice. Yeah, and well, what's the saying? Dance like no one is watching.
I don't know why they weren't dancing to it. They were watching dance.
I enjoy dancing. Well, it's funny because when we went out for my son Dylan's birthday a few months ago,
I saw it. I saw you online with him driving in the car.
Oh yeah.
To his birthday, to dinner with his mom, right? That's where you were going?
So at a nice pizza place, and we went to a place for dessert. And they also have Puerto Rican food, very good Puerto Rican food. And here it is, and his stepfather and I get along very well. But the music's going, and I really don't care. So here's this like Latino music going, and I'm there waiting to order dessert. And Larry, Dylan's stepfather, is waiting to order dessert for him and Carol, my ex-wife, Larry's wife. And Larry's just giving me a look like, that's not him. And
I like to dance to music I hear, and it doesn't matter where I am.
No, I get that going.
That's good. Steve, I want to get off the topic of Qi Gong for 1 second and talk about hypnosis, because you mentioned it at the initial. I used to think that hypnosis, I think we spoke about this one other time, was my father used to do hypnosis. So I have a history with hypnosis. And my father used to have a coin, which he used to put in front of your eyes. Now, I also went to be hypnotized by a woman that does the silver mind control.
Oh, okay.
Mind control, that's the wrong terminology for the program. Because it doesn't control your mind. It empowers you to use your own powers and to control your own mind. So they really need to. So I think it's called the Silver Method now. But she actually didn't do that. She used me sitting in a chair and just talking me into and asking me questions and training me to revisit old stuff in my life. And then we work through it. So how do you handle hypnosis? And do you do a lot of hypnosis on people? Because people are afraid of hypnosis. They think that
Why they're afraid? You don't know whether if you go under hypnosis,
somebody else
whether
is
the
going to have the
person is going to
power.
be able to get you out of it.
And if somebody else has got the power over you. If
Right.
somebody, yeah.
Right.
So go ahead, Steve.
But okay, so hypnosis is, as one of the sayings is, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Hypnosis comes from a biological perspective. All hypnosis is simply helping to get a person into a more relaxed state so they're able to take in whatever feedback, suggestion, so they can accomplish what they want to accomplish. Stress management, a fear of something, an addiction, so on and so forth. When I'm providing hypnosis for people, usually it's a small part of my business. I went through it in 1995. And it's a small part because there's the bigger areas of things that I do and I promote more. Yet it's very cool. I love doing it. Hypnosis, simply what I'm doing when I see people is a person might discuss their concerns, what they want to work on. And I have to know that they really are committed to making a difference. When I've had a few times people say, well, I really don't care about quitting cigarettes, but I figure hypnosis will do it. I say to them, if you're really not plugged in, not that motivated, don't waste your time or money. If you really are plugged in, if you're on the fence, no. It's something, if you're more plugged in, I'll charge a person. They always have to pay me in advance for hypnosis because it helps create the opportunity for success. You're putting your mind there, your emotions and everything. If a person says they can't pay me, then I say, no, we're not going to do it. If it's other areas.
In other words, they have to make an investment, Steve, that they really are sincere about doing hypnosis. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
And the thing is, the person's always under control. So I might do particular little tests with people for them to see that they're relaxed, that they are under control with hypnosis. So when you've had the people who go in front of a stage hypnotist are masters at figuring who are the extroverts. So years before I was trained in hypnosis, I remember I was on stage and the person saw I was an outgoing person. I am an extreme extrovert. And I was fine with, was I barking like a chicken, whatever I was doing. So with a hypnotist, hypnosis, it's very effective. Yet I really have to know the person's very, very committed to it.
Steve, okay, so let's touch base on that. If they have you on the stage, that was what's going through my brain, and they're asking you to bark like a chicken or to cackle like a chicken. Why do you do that if you're in control and they're not in control?
Well, it's all about suggestion. So they're doing things, once again, getting you relaxed, where you're more open to doing it. They're still in control. If the person's not in control, if the stage hypnotist doesn't think the person's really plugged in that much, they probably won't get them on the stage.
Right. I'll never forget one time I went to this training session in one of my jobs, and they actually described what they were going to do. They said, we're going to take this coin, we're going to ask you to leave the room, and we're going to take this coin and we're going to hide it. We're going to do it like this. And they walked over this way and they put it down. They said, and then we're going to ask you to come back in, and we're going to say hot and cold as you're looking for it. So they went out, we came back in, and they picked me. I raised my hand, of course. They picked me to be the one to try to find this coin. And in my mind, I said, I'm not going that way because that's the way that they had shown us that they were going to go. I'm going to go the other way. And I found it in like 2 seconds. And they were floored by my intuition, because they know, like you said, that the perspective was that you're going to follow whatever they trained you to do, whatever they showed you to do was to go in the other direction. So am I correct in my mindset?
Yes.
Right?
No, you're right. So yeah, we look at what we can create in our mind and how much of the brain do we know about, right? How much is untapped?
The brain is such a powerful, I'm not scientist. I don't know anything about medical, but the brain really intrigues me to learn about and to hear about, not in a medical term, because I don't know anything about the medical wording. And I mean, I'm not like you and Judy who could understand that, but to figure out what the brain is capable of doing and how it can do it and how it remembers. And I mean, like I'm not good at remembering paper things and things I read. I need to have I need to have information in front of me, but give me a song and I know 1,000 songs. Like I could tap into 1,000 songs without even, I could sing for hours without even like worrying about it. So, it fascinates me how the brain works. It blows me away.
Oh, no, same here. No, it's amazing. And how much do we know? How much we don't know? Definitely.
And how much do we, and I'm sorry, Steve, how much growth does we have in our brain? Like how much of my brain am I using? I'm probably only using a minimal proportion, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, that's it.
So what were you going to say? You were going to say something before I interrupted you.
Maybe now I can't remember what I was going to say.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. So, we only have 5 minutes left. And Judy, is there any questions you want to ask Steve, or any mention of the show or Qi Gong, or how did you find Qi Gong? Is it something you would tap into?
Yes, definitely. And I watch a lot of Steve's videos and I practice from those.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Steve, you do a lot for the world through your Facebook videos.
I do what I can. I mean, I do what I can. I learned from my mom about giving things back. And so that's, as I've said before, I'm inspired. I like my mom to keep her legacy going, making a difference in people's lives. And I'm inspired to be a role model for my son, Dylan. And
Yeah.
I'm inspired. It fills me up to make a difference in people's lives. And as I think you all know, the more you lift others, you lift yourself.
Wow. Steve, I got to tell you, you're not going to see it if you turn around, but the visual you have in the back, okay? When you watch this show, I want you to look at the photo and then look to the right. At the top, I see a face. I see 2 eyes and a nose and a stream of lights coming down. So to me, that's just
heavenly.
What's that?
It's like heaven. It's like a sign from heaven.
I know. It's like he's such a
an
good
angel
person. He's like an angel for the world. Just, I mean, people, I know, sometimes when we're right in the center of things and we're doing our work, I'll give you an example. I was going to say, you don't realize the work you're doing. But when I was transitioning from after my stroke, and most of the time I lived out of my body. I don't know if anybody understands that, but I didn't have my feet planted on the ground. So Dominic Cordelessa had to really help me to transition to be able to live out of my body or live with my feet planted on the ground so that I could help people, because people weren't going to engage with me out of my body because they didn't understand how I was operating. So, your feet are so planted on the ground and you're doing such great work. And I know, you really are an angel. You're a gift to the world. You are.
Thank you. Well, Becca, what are you doing? What are you ladies doing with this show?
And you're, and I agree with you. We are, and the truth is that, and this I've learned as well from Steve Harrison, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Like last show, we had an issue with the beginning show, the beginning video was a little tinny. Jim and I spoke about it, and I said, just don't worry about it. Just go ahead. And the last show, we had an issue with the video, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're trying, we're progressing, we're putting it out there. So I think, and that's what I love about Kelly Clarkson. She is who she is. She's not somebody that everybody else wants her to be. And I'll tell you another thing that, I wrote down that this is something I want to write about, how gifted I am not to have been in the music industry when I was young. Like that wasn't where I was, because now that things are coming out about the way people were treated and it's just I'm gifted. I was blessed. I mean, now I can get into the music industry because I'm going to do it my way. Mm-hmm. And nobody's gonna make me be somebody that they want me to be. I'm going to be who I am. So it's so true. So thank you, Steve, for all you're doing for everyone.
Thank you. Well, this was a blast.
Yeah. So give everybody where they can reach you.
You can reach me. Well, my website is, you can reach me at mindbodydyn.com. So mindbodydyn, DYN.com. Or you could always just look Mind Body Dynamics. You can get me, but there's a few other ones. I'll give you my cell number, 201-738-2022. And I'm on Facebook, Steve Gutman.
Yes, he's all over Facebook. Follow you on Facebook. You do wonderful, so you can get a little flavor of what you do. So we can't wait to meet you in person finally one day.
We'll do that.
So, thank you, Judy, for everything, for setting.
You're quite welcome.
Yep. And Jim, are you going to come on, or are you just going to be hidden behind the Village Connection?
I could visit.
Visit us.
Let's see, where am I?
You there?
Where am I?
That's okay if you can't do it. Here he comes.
guys.
Aha!
Hi, Jim. So we just wanted you to be on when we're thanking everybody.
Thank you.
Thanking Jim, Judy. Jim, thank you for all, Steve, Judy, and Jim. Thank you so much, Jim, for all the work you do on the back end. We're blessed.
I love it.
We're blessed. And we are changing, together we're all changing the world. We're changing the world. We're changing the world in the good way, a positive way. So, and it takes everybody to do it. So we're going to say hola to everybody. And we're going to blow kisses on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody. See you later.
Hola. God bless you all.
Thanks. See you on June 6th.
Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo, yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti, no me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron. Mi corazón está vacío, como si tuviera ayer. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. Usted está en mi sueño por la noche. Por favor, no peleemos. Y es tan difícil para mí y para ti. Yo, ¿qué puedo hacer? No me puedes No me puedes oír. No